Hey guys, I don't think there is a boy or a man on the world that was not influenced and fascinated and impressed by the looks of the old school Western underlever, whether it's a Henry rifle or a Winchester, ever in the world. So I'm definitely one of those guys. I love the way the underlever looks. I love the way the all Henry rifles look, and also, of course, the Winchester. The newer are also really beautiful. And I think it's one of the most iconic guns, not only in terms of Western movies and culture and of that period of US in general, but overall, just the most iconic looks. They are, however, not the most practical rifles for all-around use. Not for all-around use, for a specific use. For example, bench rest is really not practical to have underlever because you kind of have to lift the gun and cycle it and etc. etc. There are also some other reasons which I will not get into, but the point of this video is I have the ShinSung Carrera Ultra, of course, as you know, if you watched any of my previous videos. That gun is really interesting to me. It has, in my opinion, quite a lot of flaws and quite a lot of good features. In previous videos, I went on how I solve most of those flaws, at least they were flaws for me. Also some tuning and things like that, valve, locking of the mechanism and things like that were really lacking. But the one thing that still bothered me really a lot is the way that gun did not look good. It looked, maybe it looked average. I mean, it was underlever, but it was not what you didn't have any resemblance to the actual Henry or Winchester rifles or other lever action. Of course, for lever action, typical is to have a smaller hose underneath where the cartridges are, and the barrel on the top, and a really small breech or how they call it, action. Some of them, of course, had it made also out of brass. Some had steel and then were blued, so they were black color. So I wanted to go as close as possible by modifying ShinSung to get as close as possible within reason to still have the functionality of an airgun, of specifically this high-power 9mm airgun, but still the looks should be as closely resembling, or if not, at least to be, in my opinion, more appealing than it was before. So this is the result. I will also show you pictures, but throughout this video, first I will go through some changes that I made, and I will also show you the making process, and in the end I will just give you a brief shooting experience with this one. Of course, when I test it, I will show you some accuracy with different 9mm slugs. I went from 124 grain up to 152 grain. 52 grain somehow performed the best. These are the RS, which are Slovak made slugs that are coated. They're really nice for air guns. I use them quite a lot actually. And I do size them to slightly smaller. I size them to exactly 9mm because this is an airgun barrel, and they are a bit tight if unsized. They still shoot, but it kind of creates too much friction. I will not get into a lot of details of the mods I already made, like the pressure assisted valve. That is the key to delivering the power and the shot count, which is very low right now, but still is the key to get that shot count at this power that I'm getting. So let's go through some challenges and what I did. Of course, you see all around new stock. This is stock 100% made by me, and I will show you in the background also the process, how I made it, or in the foreground. One of the things that was really ugly to me was the fact that it had two cylinders. So I removed one of the cylinder, but so before, about here is where the gun would end, slightly forward than here. And I made this additional, let's say, it's not plenum, it's prolonged cylinder from that bottom cylinder. So I cut it, I threaded it on the inside, I made an extension aluminum inside piece, so it's threaded into to the existing cylinder and to this new one. And then in the end, I made an end cap. And that end cap, of course, I anodized everything that's made out of aluminum, and I put the fill nipple on it. I don't have any gauge. Personally, I don't need it. This is a 4-shot gun, so I get 4 full power shots, which is actually the maximum the magazine from a 210 bar fill. I am okay with this. This is not a performance gun to me. I will not shoot for groups or for competition or anything like that. I can shoot it tethered, but I shoot it offhand. So typically I will fill it, go and shoot offhand 4 shots, and then fill it again. I don't have an issue with that. It's not dedicated that I would get some exceptional shot count with it. So I know that some of you guys will mention this right away, and I do agree with you. It's not practical, but again, this is my baby. Let's say this is for my pleasure. I also made this relatively complicated aluminum part. We'll also show you how I did this, and I made a new sight. Actually, the cap itself on the top made of steel is the old one, but the inside it's newly made. So hopefully I can do this, and hopefully this camera will focus. It is a nice sight picture. The rear sight is, I believe, from Hudson gun. I think so. And the barrel is Slaughter Walter. Is 650 millimeters long, so 65 centimeters long. 9 millimeters, as I mentioned. And of course the gun is unregulated. You do have a power adjuster here, although this power adjuster will not have the same function because this is a pressure assisted valve, so it works kind of differently. So basically you can reduce the power slightly, but mainly you are just getting that full blast power, which is what I want, because as I mentioned, this is not for any other kind of use than for fun. So I really like how this stock turned out. This is Slovenian walnut, which I mentioned in my pistol video before. Although in this case, I didn't make it any darker. So this is completely natural. And I know some of you will mention it that it's maybe too light, but I really, really like it the way it is. To me, it's just perfect looking and really nice to hold. One thing I did, and this is really important to me, is I hate the way that modern guns typically have huge cylinders in the bottom, and instead of holding almost by the barrel, the front, the left arm goes, instead of going almost around the barrel, you are like holding it here, and then you get this kind of movements. You cannot control it that well. So this is something I hate. I'm talking about shooting offhand, of course. If you have a fixed tripod, this is not an issue. And that's why I not only went with the wood up as much as possible, but I also put it so it goes halfway around the barrel as well. And this is really cool for me because you can grab it. It's like old school, you know. You grab it and you know you're holding it, and you shoot it and you fire it, and it's extremely, extremely nice to shoulder. The buttstock, I left the original one, but this part of the stock I made more traditional, and for me it was really important that this part was straight, because I had the one that was curved like this, so it was like down. And that one, although it may be slightly more pleasant to hold while shooting, although this one is also really, really excellent, it kind of made impossible to cock if it's this shape, because you're kind of pressing up here against your knuckles. Although my cocking is extremely light, so let's do it like this. I can do it with a pinky because I have a pressure assisted valve. It still didn't feel pleasant to do this. And now it is really pleasant. You might notice that I had on the YouTube channel, I was asking you if anyone knew how to get this part, and some of you volunteered. I really appreciate for those that did. In the end, I ended actually purchasing this part, but it wasn't correct for my gun because the smaller caliber guns has slightly narrower this part. So I didn't end up using that one, but instead I modified this one, and you can see closely here. You can see where I cut it. I straightened it, and I have to cut a piece away, and then I kind of cut it this way, so it's still covering a little bit, and now it's put together by some 2-component strong, some sort of epoxy, and 2 3mm screws, which are then filed off to have like really straight surface. So it's almost invisible. It's really strong. At first I only tried to glue it with that 2-component epoxy, but it kind of broke off because this is under stress. When you fire, there is some stress to it, and it broke off eventually. And then when I put this 2 screws inside along that 2-component epoxy, now it's really holding and I don't have any issue with it. So let's see, did I forget anything? Well, I think that's about it. Maybe the sides, so magazine at the sides. I of course use the regular open sides or iron sides. This one is actually plastic, but this one is aluminum. But I also have option for more precise shooting, which I haven't done yet, to slide this peephole side on. I don't have the correct screw yet to fixate it, but this should enable me to kind of get the old school of high precision aiming at longer range, and I will do that sometime and shoot at 100 meters. You will see also the power curve. I get about the same power with all of the slugs I've tested. I get best accuracy with 152 grain slugs. In terms of joules, I'm getting from about 320 down to 280 in that 4-shot range. I will give you all the info on the screen when I'm on the accuracy and the power portion. So I think that's it. Yeah, magazine. I made the magazines so I can fit at least 4 of any kind of slugs that I intend to use. So I made this part further back, so it goes a little further back. I kind of fill this part with some epoxy and then color it, painted black. And I also filed off here a little bit to allow, of course, bigger slug. This was done already before. And of course, the pin itself is not protruding as far out as on the original, because you don't have to when you have such long slugs. I do have another magazine which is standard, and that one will fit pellets perfectly. So here are 4 shots loaded in heaviest configuration. It sticks slightly out, but you can put it in and still normally start shooting. So yeah, I think that's it. Enjoy the rest of the video, how I made these mods and the end part with accuracy, and that's about it. This is kind of a baby for me, you know. This is the kind of things I like the pistol. This is also the thing that I really enjoy shooting. Of course, as I mentioned, this will not be used for target shooting or anything like that. This will be for fun. And it is extremely, extremely fun. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell button if you want to see me make more of this kind of projects, and see you on the next one. Okay, so this is how the slugs look like. So these are 125 grain, 135, they're really nice colors, and 152 really heavy ones. These are sized to 9mm exactly, so they create less friction in the barrel, which of course is the barrel is, by the way, a Lothar Walther 9mm airgun barrel, which is slightly tighter than the regular 9mm, but still also has a slightly slower twist, but still of course it's made for accuracy and has relatively low friction for this kind of slugs. Anyway, the loading is done here. So this is the magazine. It is modified to go slightly further back to allow more slugs to go inside. And for example, if I load this in, I'll try to do it like this. I hold this down because this is spring loaded, and if I release it, it will throw everything out. So like this, you have all 4 of them loaded. These are slightly longer and they protrude slightly if I put 4 inside. And then you put it in the gun and leave this, so the spring is activated and it pushes it forward. And of course, as soon as I cock it, it pushes in the is in this transfer hole, which goes inside and loads it afterwards. We have pistol slugs from Ares. These are coated and they are 124 grain. And considering the small cylinder size of this gun and the really high power, we will only be doing 4 shots per fill. So we are 70 meters away and we will be shooting at the biggest silhouette because I'm only using iron sights. I'm approximately sighted in, so I should be able to hit the big one. The big one is 16 centimeters, which is roughly 6.5 inches. Okay, let's try. I think I was a little bit low. I don't see it, of course, you can see it on the camera, but I don't know where exactly where I'm hitting. Again, I touched it. Okay, that's weird. I will check on the camera where I hit it. Okay, that was a much better hit. So as you can see, the velocity is dropping quite significantly. And this is the last, the 4th shot. This is, by the way, also how many slugs I can fit in the magazine. Oh, nice hit. Cool. Okay, let's refill and do another one. Second take with 125 grain Ares slugs. I of course refilled the gun to about 220-215 bars. So let's start. The cocking is ridiculously easy, but the lever action guns are not the most practical to be shot from a bench like this, because of course you have to raise the action in order to cock it. Okay, one more. Okay, let's get to a little bit heavier slug. Now I have slightly heavier, again Ares, again for pistol. These are 135 grain, so heavier, and they still fit, 4 of them still fit in the magazine. So we will do 4 shots again. I'm not sure if the point of aim will be exactly the same, but we'll see. Okay. You can see on the target that there is more energy. Yes. One more. Ah, miss. Okay, probably my fault. Okay, let's get to even heavier. Okay, so these are the heaviest that I have. These are 152 grain. We still have 4, just barely fit the magazine. They're a bit tighter fit, but still they should be okay. I will aim just a little bit higher because the velocity will be lower for sure. Whoa, that really hit the target. Nice. One more. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do one close-up shot offhand. So I'm gonna load the magazine. I will put 4 inside. Okay, we're full. Put the magazine in the gun. Okay, we are ready to fire. So right now I will just demonstrate how the repeating action works the proper way, let's say, offhand, and I will just shoot at something. I will not pay attention to the to hitting actually. So I will do it relatively fast. And I broke off the silhouette.